Welcome to SuperCoach. Hope you guys are well out there. Didn't get a chance last night, which was kind of forecast in the live. We went to the Cats Bulldogs game, which was a ripper. Gee, that was exciting when Shannon Neal put that little running goal through. Thought the Cats were in some real trouble late in the game, but that was exciting. So, yeah, was realistically no chance to get the video out last night. And was certainly buggered by the time we got home and needed some sleep because we had the old 7 a.m. alarm for work, and I don't like that alarm at the best of times. So, nonetheless, we're getting stuck into it now. So, apologies, I might not get around to as many comments. I'll try to tomorrow at some stage. Probably going to be a bit late for some of those decisions, but hopefully what we cover in the video and on my TikToks can sort of, cover anything you are thinking. Rough idea. I remembered I've been putting my notepad like here when I discuss my notes, and my face is right there, little cube. So probably doesn't make much sense. Let's move it over there. So that is a rough plan of some of the names we're going to talk about. So hopefully anything you're thinking about roughly pops up there. But just want to share like a funny story from work, right? Like I feel like anyone that works in a place where you mingle with the cleaners when they come in after hours, the cleaners are just some of the more down-to-earth, rough diamond type of people that you're ever going to come across. And we've got a couple of rippers at my work, and of course their names are Mick and Shaz. I mean, of course it's Mick and Shaz, and they're bloody funny. Rough around the edges, but amusing. Anyway, look, we have a bit of a chat most nights. They're good value. Anyway, side note, one of the ladies I work with used to be a hairdresser, still does it casually, you know. And for some reason, it's just a bit of a loose unit as well. Whenever she, like, dyes someone's hair or gives them a bit of a trim, she'll be like, oh, yep, doing a couple of head jobs over the weekend. You're like, whoa, Jesus. Like, a couple of what? It's just part of her joke, whatever. Anyway, my hair's getting a bit long, right? Has been for a couple of weeks. And Justine was joking about, oh, you might need to get a head job over the weekend. And Mick has just thought this is one of the funniest things ever. He's, oh, mate, getting a head job. Oh, he's running all sorts of loose content. I'm like, yeah, far out. Getting into some interesting areas here. Anyway, every Monday we do breakfast club at school a couple of days a week. And I go and buy the bread, the toasty, you know, the ham, cheese, all the stuff for your toasties, right? And I normally bring my Coles and Woolies bags and fill them up. It's easier to carry. Monday I forgot them. So I had to grab a couple of boxes from Woolies, you know, chuck them in. Which, you know, got 3 or 4 boxes, fits, but it's not as compact, certainly not as easy to carry. Plus I look like an alcoholic dragging around all these old wine cask boxes. Doesn't look great when you're working at school. But one of the fellas I work with, he's like, oh, mate, do you need a hand? Yeah, oh, that'd be great, actually. Give me a hand. And I was still sort of struggling with one of the other ones. Halfway there, one of the other teachers like, mate, give me that. I'll take it in. So I'm walking in with 2 of my workmates. Know them pretty well, but, you know, they're more your workmate friends. And it's towards the end of the day, of course, Mick's cleaning away. And I'm with these 2 blokes. And Mick's like, oh, mate, did you get your head job over the weekend? I'm like, fucking hell. The other blokes looked at me. He's like, hang on, what? And he doubles down. He's like, yeah, mate, you needed that head job, didn't you? Fucking hell, Mick, keep it chill, for God's sake. You're making me look like some sort of sex freak in front of my colleagues. Chill out, bro. And they were like, giving me these weird-ass looks. Crazy stuff, but bloody hell, it was funny when I was debriefing with them. And then today, Shaz is she's taking the lead today. Still, I haven't had a haircut. Oh, mate, you got to get a haircut over the weekend. We'll be giving you a head job on Monday. I'm thinking, oh, play your cards right, Shaz. No, definitely not. But, and then, yeah, she was like, oh, we'll bring the ropes in on Monday. We'll tie you up. We'll give you a head job. I'm thinking, look, Sharon, it's been a long time since I've been tied up and given a bit of a head job. But, Jesus Christ, bring the ropes. Treat me like a piece of meat, Shaz. But no, it's just crazy. Like some of the, I go from being all professional in my office. I walk out to the side bit and Shaz and Mick are just talking raucous, sort of cleaner banter. But anyway, something a bit different for your Friday preview. Thought I'd just share that one with you. But anyway, let's take a look. Let's take a look at these teams. Even though I've pretty much heard most of them, I was listening to the radio and you sort of get the gist of the ins and outs. Normally people will text me anyway if something really disastrous has happened. Sardale Hooley's just, it's a mystery for me. Absolute mystery. Day Wicks going out might hurt a couple, not maybe hurt, but change their plans. Nankervis might hurt a couple. But yeah, Al Hooley, it's a mystery to me. I thought he was going okay. I'm surprised he got subbed off. I'm even more surprised that he must do something that the coaches don't like. Angus Clark could be someone to consider. We'll have to see how he goes. Same with O'Farrell. Anytime we get someone a bit new is a good opportunity for a new downgrade rookie. Obviously, Callahan's going to be a major talking point. DeConing, good to see him back. Great to see Pitnet also out. That was probably my main concern, that he would share the ruck. Kitty Coleman was someone or somebody that people were talking about, but he's been managed, which certainly rules him out and puts a bit of a question mark over him too. Meek comes back in, might help a couple. What else have we got? I think we're getting to the areas where I haven't actually seen these selections. So Horn-Francis is obviously a big talking point. We'll discuss that along with Macrae as well. These final, are they? Because that's annoying. I really wanted Clay Hall in. Fuck! Jesus Christ! Can this bloke just get a go? Man. I really thought with those outs he might be a chance to get in. What about can Boxall get in? Otherwise, we could be really, again, preying on Moraes not being the sub. Mills comes in. Be interesting to see how he goes, but give these guys 2 games. Boxall came in. Let's go. Give me some options, baby. We like that. Garcia omitted. He's just a strange option, isn't he? He just can't quite find his feet. So gives me options. We like options. Clearly, the main talking point today is what to do if you've got particularly Horn-Francis, particularly Macrae, 2 of the more popular guys. Absolute plot twist in our seasons. It's been a tough season already, and that certainly threw a spanner in the works there. But let's have a bit of a look at my side. Good to see Holmesy go nicely last night. So I imagine we'll be able to have a little emergency loophole action. We love some loophole action. So yeah, we'll just see how he goes, and if he goes all right, honestly, I'll take anything above 65. We'll lock him in, but yeah, let's cover the main talking point. So Macrae, Horn-Francis, right now, what are we looking at? Let's start with Horn-Francis. Bizarre. Like early in the week, I was like, well, he's out for a month. And the injury list still says a month. Where is it? So it still says 4 weeks, right? And then he comes out and says, oh, I'm back running laps. I could be a couple of weeks, which is bizarre content. You can listen to the interview here. I think I've got to pay a bloody subscription to even read this. But the general gist of it was, yeah, I could be back in a couple. How? How on earth could that possibly be true? Like, this is a hamstring for an explosive player. The first time he's done one, so they're not going to risk him. They've brought players back too quick in the past. I do not see a world where he comes back this quick. Now, also we've got Macrae, who is a 2 to 3 weeker. 2 to 3 weeks there. And we'll have a look at their buys and get a bit of a feel for it. So the buys, you've got Port Adelaide having one straight up. So Horn-Francis is going to be missing anyway. And then you've got St Kilda the next week. So I'm hopeful that Macrae can be back in round 14. Probably not ideal that it's a Thursday night. I would think round 15 is a likely return for Macrae. And Horn-Francis, surely there's no way that he's back any sooner than round 14. So what I will say, I'm holding Macrae. I'm trading Horn-Francis. Let's deal with Callaghan. That's simple. You trade Callaghan. He's got a bit of value, but he's not a top 10 mid. He's a pretty good option. He's probably an M8 option. You could keep him. He's playing decent. He's not a bona fide premium, super premium keeper, I wouldn't have thought. So you trade him. You trade him out. You're looking at Noah Anderson, Tom Green, whoever floats your boat. But the decision, I think, lies with Macrae and Horn-Francis. Now, I think their injury concerns will be relatively similar. I think both will be either side of 3 weeks, give or take. But the big one for me is I think it's twofold. I think there's a chance Horn-Francis is out for a month. I think that's still a real world philosophy. Feel like Macrae worst case is 3. Plus, if you add in the fact that, okay, Macrae does have a break even of 150, he's coming off back-to-back 70 odds. It's not great, but yes, he will also drop in price. But I feel more comfortable adding to that extra layer on top of the injury list is that Horn-Francis was out early. He's coming off at 22. Break even similar to Macrae for this week, but once he comes back and has that 22 interrupting his rolling 3-game average, this price of $4.99, that's going to hit low 400s very quickly. And if he's a bit slow off the mark, or if they just ease him back into it with the forward time, or dare I say it, they sub him off, this price could start with a 3 at some point. So I think for my plans, get by with Macrae, get through. We've got the safety net of best 18 through the buys. Hope he recovers reasonable. And look, let's say best case scenario, Horn-Francis does come back quickly. He's going to drop in price quickly as well. And we can just quickly get him into our 6th forward premium position. So that's the way I'm playing it. My trades this week, well, we'll do those at the end. What else have we got here? They're definitely the main talking points. And then Simpson and Vicentini, it's pretty straightforward. We've been dying for rookies, so snap them up. I think if you've only need one, Cooper Simpson's the play. Like Vicentini, he could continue on averaging 90 as the number 1 ruck, but it also would only take a poor game or two, a smashing in the ruck, for him to get completely dropped. And if you want to just back one in, I think it's Simpson. Not only is, I think, his job security really, really good, I think we got to play with what's real. And while we can speculate on roles and job security and averages, what is completely real is that Simpson is 120, 130k cheaper than Vicentini. So you're banking that straight up. And with our cash gen at the moment, anytime we can land 100k straight up, very helpful. So if I was leaning towards one, it'd be Simpson. And that sort of leads me into Shea Bolton. If I'm looking to replace Horn-Francis with a premium, this is the order I would do it. And if you've already got one of these guys, just go to the next guy down the pecking order. I assume everyone has Smith. Yeah, I assume everyone has him. Rankin's my top priority, then Chad Warner, then Nick Martin, then Christian Petrarca. And then the wild card is Shea Bolton, because you could plug him into any of those slots depending if your side desperately needs the cash. Because Shea Bolton, he will give you that extra 100k compared to a Petrarca and all these other blokes who they're around 540. You know, Rankin's 540, Martin's 530. So if you're looking at your side and you're like, ooh, where is this next downgrade coming from? Or, oh gosh, I need to bring in Butters in 2 weeks, or Wanganeen Miller in a couple of weeks, or boy, I need that extra cash to get to Gorn. Then maybe take Bolton. Now, I'm not saying this with full confidence. He will be far more of a headache than the others. If it was a pure head-to-head, he'd be on the bottom of the pecking order. But this is SuperCoach Classic, so we've got to take the cash into consideration. This is a man that at his best can give you 130 pluses consistently, and at his worst can score 5. Obviously, 5 is dramatic, but he is more than capable of throwing in some poor ones. Even in this career best season where he averaged 96, he threw in a 50, 63, 56, 65, 54. So he can throw in the stinkers. It'll be more of a roller coaster ride with Shea than some of the others. But I think if cash is really important to you and necessary, that's the way I would go. I think Noah Anderson's a good inclusion. I mean, to put it simply, I could tell you to bring in Brayshaw and Bont and all these guys. Of course I could. But I think Tom Green, Noah Anderson represent good value. If you're planning your trades, make sure you plan for bringing in someone like Zach Merritt when he plummets. Zach Butters, you've got to have a plan. So look forward to a few weeks, and maybe that'll answer your question. Petrarca versus Bolton. Plan out your trades. Obviously, it's not an exact science, but plan it out. And if you roughly plan it, giving, the rough percentage plays, and you're like, oh, I'm going to be like 80k short, then bring in Bolton just to give you a fighting chance to bring in Butters, because cash gen is difficult at the moment. Kitty Coleman, I think we put a line through, given he's managed at least for the time being. Luke Jackson, it's a straight up no for me. So we had the injury list up before. Now, we'll just type him in. I'm pretty sure he's every chance to be back pretty soon. Injury update. Let's have a look. And look, we know the stats. When they share the ruck, it's no good for Jackson. So he's every chance to be available for selection soon. Can't remember if he was picked. It's a really simple one. I don't want to bring in a guy like Luke Jackson who, hey, when he's solo ruck, yeah, he is an out and out keeper. Don't get me wrong. But when Sean Darcy comes in, don't want to go near him. So I don't want to bring in a guy like that. Yeah, Darcy's injury prone, but I don't want to be relying on luck or the stress of, oh, I hope he gets injured. Nah, not for me. So I'm putting a line through Jackson for those reasons. Talked about Bolton, bias. Look, I think times now, if you want to upgrade, downgrade, do whatever you want to do. Like, yeah, best 18 scoring. Keep that in mind. That can help us get through the safety net of buys. It can work both ways. You might be able to hold a Macrae if you've got some depth, or you might struggle to hold a Macrae because we do have the buys. But sharing it with just Freo probably helps. Staywick's got drops, so rule that out. Leak didn't come back. Libber, it's too late for him, but I do like him. Clark versus Dale, it's a bit late, but I said on my live that I prefer Clark as well. But my trades. So I'm prioritizing. I feel like we have to get cash generation. I've looked ahead and I feel like not only do I desperately need, for fuck's sake, not only do I desperately need cash straight away, but I need cash generating players. I'm trading out Horn-Francis for Simpson, and you may have guessed it, Vicentini's coming in on the flex. I'm out of boosts, but this is what we're doing. This will allow me to have 500k in the bank. I'm eyeing off Roberts to Whitfield, Reed to Wanganeen Miller in good time. I'm eyeing off Levi Ashcroft to maybe Zach Butters, or Ryan Marrick to Zach Butters, or hopefully Andy Brayshaw can just go low hundreds for a couple of weeks. Bontempelli was a bit quieter last week or last night. I won't be able to get them all, but I'm just hoping that Ashcroft and Marrick, maybe Moraes can just get me to 260, 270. Can Kako just give me an 80? Just find a way to get to 280k, mate. Just kick a couple of goals, lay a few tackles, please, mate. And then hopefully Simpson can kick on. We've got Cleary, he can kick on hopefully to 300 at some point, and then we can bring in Horn-Francis at 410. That's a bit of my rough thought bubble. And look, we'll deal with the flex when we can. There will be midfielders that score 70s and we can bring them in. I've just got to wait for them. But yeah, trying to pick off guys at affordable prices rather than going for your Gorns, your Cherries, your Bonts at 700k. Feel like that's not sustainable and ultimately my team will suffer by round 18 or round 19. So trying to grab a few under 600k. I think Merritt's a good one for a couple of weeks, and I think Anderson's right in the range right now. Jordan Clark's in the range right now. So I'm going to wrap that up. Going to try and upload this one as quick as we can to try and beat the bounce, which we will, but try and give you a bit of viewing time. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Good luck. See you Sunday night.